I worry about this with my grandmother all the time. And I know that's not necessarily the specific focus of today's
That's more
conversation,
important to me.
but
Let's talk about your grandma. That's more important. That's as important as I'm dead serious. Like this happens to America.
well, when I
This happens to a lot of individuals, and there's a lot we can do, especially as tech-enabled business people.
when I hear you say, this is the thing that got me down that train of thought, but when I hear you say we need better systems for validating these transactions need to happen, or the transactions that need to happen or that are happening, and some of the stuff is really obvious and good for people that have a base level of technological understanding. MFA, some of these callback things, some of these, you've got your biometric scans with your eyes, and you've got your, your fingerprint, and you've got your chips, and all that stuff's really good, and can be really helpful. The things that worry me or where I get worried is when we have large segments of our community and society that just don't have that knowledge, and they're not set up in such a way to be able to educate themselves on how to use the defensive tools that exist. Those are the people that are vulnerable the most, and when I hear you say like we need, I've thought like, how can banks help older folks or those who are less technically savvy prevent these types of things from happening? And I guess, what are your thoughts on
I have
that?
a lot of thoughts, and thank you for bringing this up because I did want to talk about this more because everybody thinks of old people, but this is also targeting 10, 12, 16-year-old kids. Probably the most common is fake Facebook profiles or Instagram. For grandma, it's probably different channels for grandma versus that kid. Can be TikTok, whatever. But how easy is it with AI tools for me to make a digital Zach and start a digital Zach Facebook page and then connect with your grandma, because that's pretty easy to pull out from open source, and then message grandma that I need to borrow money. First connect, a month early and say, hey, my old Facebook got hacked. Can you add this? I'm adding you back here, grandma. Love you. And then a month later, they start asking for money and figuring out how to steal money from her. Same thing's happening to kids. It's usually just different. For teenage boys, it's a supermodel that for some reason loves this 13-year-old kid. And they start falling in love with sometimes an AI chatbot, sometimes an actual human on the other end. They start asking for money, or worse, they start, I don't even know how to say this, swapping pictures, and then the other end is
Yeah.
blackmailing the high school kid over these pictures, right? That's pretty
Oh,
common. You can search this when we hang up. You'll be disgusted all afternoon. But um, anyway, so how do we stop this? Here's the bad news. The bad news is the attack methods, how attackers can get at these elderly folks, at kids, at all of us. The attack methods are exponentially higher than ever. That's the bad news. Here's the good news. The banks are trying to do things to help. And I would argue that there's never been, in the digital banking world, there's never been better tools available to us. So first, let's start with your grandma. Here's sincerely what I would do. 100% serious. I don't know where she's banking. I don't care. You don't have to mention it. But I would find a regional bank close to her residence, or credit union. So find a credit union or a bank close to her that has a regional presence, that she can go in and meet with a banker. So by that, I'm mentioning, kind of a smaller credit union, smaller bank. I'm not recommending, one branch. It can be a national chain, but somebody you can have a relationship with. Go in there, you and grandma go in there together. Set up two things. Set up notifications on her account. First thing is grandma needs to authorize that not that Zach can take money out of her account, but that the bank can communicate with you if there's ever an issue and you need to help her recover funds or something like that. Establishing that relationship first. Second thing, you can set up text notifications. So every time you could set it for a certain dollar amount, you could set it up for every transaction, but certainly over $500, Zach gets a notification if more than $500 comes out of grandma's account, you get a text message. And that gives you the ability to check, because every month, here's one more thing I'd recommend. Tell her, we're going to get you a credit card. We're going to set it up on auto pay, so it's paid off every month. I know a lot of grandparents, a lot of people don't like credit cards because you can get into credit card debt and really hurt yourself, right? I'm not recommending that. Let's set up auto pay on a monthly basis where your bank account, let's say it's paying your Social Security health insurance supplement or your Medicare supplement. It's receiving your Social Security payment, maybe some IRA money's coming in. It's paying your mortgage or rent, and it pays your credit card in full. Everything else can be on the credit card. Now Zach's going to get all the notifications. So he sees, wait, you did an ACH, you did a wire? That seems weird. Or, hey, grandma, I saw a $4,000 check. Did you write that? Yeah, it was my favorite grandson's birthday, not Zach, but it's my favorite. I gave him $4,000. You can
shout out to Shane.
You can validate it that way, right? And have that personal touch with her. The reason I bring up credit cards is it's very easy to get credit card transactions turned around if there's ever card fraud, right? If anybody ever steals your card number, she's online shopping, she goes to the wrong website, it gets stolen. It's very easy to get those credit card transactions turned around. It's much harder with debit card once it's cleared. And then the other thing you can set up is something called positive pay. A lot of banks have this now, where it's a portal where somebody does check fraud against your grandma, right? They print checks and they start writing checks to themselves and signing her name. You get to log in and see those checks before they clear, and you can either click approve or not approve. And you can,
I wish they had a button that let me hit that person with a baseball bat.
Or a drone strike. You're a little more forgiving than me, but so positive pay enables you to limit if there's a debit charge, if there's a wire, ACH, anything like that. You can accept or decline. By the way, do this for your businesses too, especially once accounts reach a certain dollar amount where, hey, we got something to worry about here, right? Early in the entrepreneurial journey, it's probably cash in, cash out. But once you have some money built up, use positive pay to make sure those checks don't clear. There's no ACHs or wires. Use those notifications for your business. That's exactly what I would do for grandma. And that's what I would do with any kids that have a bank account too. So you can catch anything fishy, before it gets ugly.
Fishy, pun intended.
Yeah.